This is SS Jadhav from JS Tutorials. Today we'll start with the subject from diploma and degree engineering field, that is applied mechanics. For this applied mechanics, the very first concept, which is mostly important, that is force systems, and upon which all other concepts are depending, that is beams, friction, etc. So we'll start with the very first concept, that is force systems from applied mechanics. As far as the diploma and the degree engineering syllabus is concerned, for civil as well as for mechanical engineering, this subject, that is applied mechanics, is very much common. So uh, we'll see the basics of applied mechanics in this lecture. Okay, we'll start with the force systems. This force system concept start with the definition of applied mechanics or the mechanics definition. So the students will be asked into the exam, that is define mechanics. What is meant by mechanics? See, this mechanics is the branch of science. Mechanics is the branch of science which deals with the action of forces on the bodies in motion or at rest. Action of forces on the bodies which are rest, which are at rest or in motion. Okay. So if there is one body and it is acted upon by number of forces, F1, F2, F3. Okay. So all these forces are acting on this body, and this effect is considered in this mechanics concept. Okay, so the mechanics definition starts with the branch of science which deals with the action of forces on the bodies at rest or in motion. Okay, rest or in motion. So two words should be remembered by the students, that is rest or in motion. Okay, this is the definition of applied mechanics or the mechanics. Secondly, we'll see the concept of classification. In the exam, the question will be asked to give the classification of applied mechanics or the mechanics. Formerly, it is known as engineering mechanics, but in the today's scheme, it is known as applied mechanics. Student must note that. The classification of mechanics. Mechanics is broadly classified or the mainly classified into two main types, that is statics and dynamics. Statics and the dynamics. Okay. This dynamic concept is again classified into two main types, that is kinetics and the kinematics. See, the mechanics is classified into two main types, that is statics and dynamics. See, the concept of statics means the bodies which are at rest, means the mechanics, in the mechanics will do the study of all the bodies which are at rest in the statics concept. And dynamics, as we know, the dynamics is concerned with the bodies in motion. Okay, so the statics, definition of statics can be defined as, statics is the branch of mechanics which deals with the study of action of forces on the bodies at rest. Means this rest concept is concerned with the statics. Okay, so the students must remember the word, that is rest. Okay, next the dynamics. Again, the definition of dynamics can be defined as, dynamics is the branch of mechanics which deals with the study of action of forces on the bodies in motion. So, the word here to be remembered for the dynamic concept, that is motion. Okay. So, statics and the dynamics, both concepts can be defined as like that. For static, the student should remember the word, that is rest, and for dynamics, the student should remember the word motion. Okay. Now the dynamics is again divided into two types, kinetics and kinematics. See the pronunciation or the spelling of two words, that is kinetics and kinematics. For kinetics, again, the definition will be asked into the exam. Define kinetics. How it can be defined? It can be defined as, it is the branch of, again, now it is the branch of dynamics, no? So the kinetics is the branch of dynamics which deals with the study of forces on the bodies in motion, but where forces causing the motion and mass are considered. Here, the forces and the mass both are considered in the kinetics concept. Okay, so in the dynamics concept, just add this sentence, that is where forces and the mass are considered. Okay, this will be the definition of kinetics. In kinematics, simply you can write these words and not consider. Okay, force and mass are not considered. Okay, in case of kinematics can be defined as, it is the branch of dynamics which deals with the study of action of forces for the bodies in motion, where force and the mass are not considered. This word not considered should be there for the kinematics, and for kinetics, these two words, that is forces and the mass, should be considered here. Okay, this is the concept of kinetics and kinematics. The student should remember this classification broadly. Mechanics can be defined into can be divided into statics and the dynamics. For statics, all the bodies which are at rest and the forces are acting on that body. This all study of those forces should be done in the concept of statics. In case of dynamics, all the bodies which are in motion and the forces are acting on that body. This whole study is done under the concept of dynamics. And for dynamics, it is again divided into kinetics and kinematics. For kinetics, remember the word, that is forces and the mass are considered. And for kinematics, forces and the mass are not considered. Okay, this is the classification of mechanics. Now, in the force system, the student will come across with the next concept, that is force. We have defined concept of mechanics, the classification of mechanics we have said earlier, and now we will go for the force concept. Uh, Before defining force, we should know the Newton's first law. Newton's first law, which the students have studied earlier in the physics subject, that is Newton's first law. How Newton's first law can be stated as, everybody, see, this is one body which is placed on the surface, horizontal surface. This body will continue in its state of rest or of uniform motion unless and until it is acted upon by an external agency. Unless and until it is acted upon by an external agency. If this body is at rest, it will be stay at rest only, or it is in continuous motion, it will continue its motion unless and until it is acted upon by an external force or external agency. Okay, this is the first law, Newton's first law. So here comes the definition of force in the Newton's first law, that external agency, I have explained earlier, external agency which acted upon that body, which changes the state of the body. When the body at rest, it will continue in motion, or it will change its position, okay, from point A to point B, etc. So that external agency is known as what? Force. Students should remember that the force definition is can be explained into the Newton's first law. So students should know the Newton's first law first and then define the force concept. Okay, I'm explaining once again, that is Newton's first law. Newton's first law, it states that the every body continues its state of rest or of uniform motion unless and until it is acted upon by an external agency. This external agency which changes the state of the body is known as force. Okay, is known as force. So the definition of force can be given as an external agency. Uh, Commence your definition with this word, that is external agency. An external agency either push or pull. Either push or pull. What is meant by push? Here, this force, the arrow directed towards the body. Okay, this is the concept of push. And in this concept, where the arrow is acting away from the body or shown away from the body, so this is the concept of pull. Students should remember this push or pull concept, which is very helpful in case of beams concept in finding the reaction, okay, or in case of resolution concept also. So students should remember push and the pull concept. So again, we are going for the definition of force. Force is the external agency, either push or pull, which changes the state of the body, which changes the state of the body, which is known as force. Okay, this is the definition of force. Now, the question will be asked for the 2 marks in case of diploma engineering subjects, that is applied mechanics. Define force and give its SI unit. We have given the definition here earlier. Now the SI unit of force. SI unit. This force concept is invented by the scientist, that is Newton, Isaac Newton. So the SI unit of force is given onto the name of this great scientist, that is Isaac Newton. So the SI unit of force is Newton. Students should remember the relation between kilogram and the Newton here. See, 1 kilogram is equal to 9.81 Newton. 1 kilogram is equal to 9.81 Newton. Okay. So here we have seen the concept of force, the concept of push or pull. We have seen the Newton's first law also, and we have seen the SI unit, the relation between kilogram and the Newton. Okay. Now, as far as the problems are concerned, in case of force systems, or in case of finding reactions, or in case of resolution of force, or the composition of forces, the chapters which comes later on that force system, in case of diploma engineering students or the degree engineering students also, we should know the relation between kilonewton and Newton, meganewton and the Newton, and the giganewton and the Newton. Some problems are provided with the kilonewton type of force, or the meganewton type of force, or the giganewton type of force also. So students should convert that value, that is kilonewton, meganewton and the giganewton, into the Newton value. So here one relation should be known to the student, that is 1 kilonewton is equal to 10 raised to 3 newtons. Okay, 1 meganewton is equal to 10 raised to 6 newtons, and the 1 giganewton, that is Gn, which is equal to 10 raised to 9 newton. How it can be remembered? As K stands for 10 raised to 3. 10 raised to 3 means 1000. M stands for 10 raised to 6. M means meganewton. You can remember this as for million. M for million. 10 raised to 6. 10 lakhs. Okay. So 10 raised to 6 Newton. And for 1 Gn, that is 1 giganewton, which is equal to 10 raised to 9. 3, 6, 9. So all these concepts should be remembered for to convert the value of kilonewton, meganewton or the giganewton into the Newton's value to calculate the next answers into that question. Okay, so we have seen in this lecture, that is the basic concepts behind the force system, that is definition of mechanics, the classification of mechanics, and the concept of force, Newton's first law, definition of force, SI unit of force, and these convergence. Okay. In the upcoming lectures, we will go for the characteristics of force, effects of force, law of transmissibility of force, and the remaining concepts, that is classification of coplanar and non-coplanar force system. We'll see all those concepts into the upcoming lectures. If you like all those videos or the lectures that I have delivered earlier, please like and subscribe my channel, that is JS Tutorials, to see more videos on that. Thank you.